There's never been a better time to fall in love with space. No Man's Sky, Space Engineers, Stellaris, Kerbal Space Program, the list just goes on. I've been fascinated with space for as long as I can remember. Growing up, my ceiling was covered in glow-in-the-dark stars, and my walls were decorated with planets, spaceships, and satellites. As a kid, looking up at the night sky felt magical. The idea of something so vast and so empty, yet full of so much unknown. It fueled my imagination and curiosity. Even though my surroundings today might not have the same starry decor, my love for space has never faded. If anything, thanks to the games I've played and the stories I've experienced, my passion for it has only grown. Space Engineers and Stellaris are two of my most played games on Steam, and both still get frequent updates. Also, for the record, I will argue on my deathbed that Rocket League is a space game, and you can't convince me otherwise. I've logged almost 900 hours into Space Engineers, yet I've only been to 3 of its 8 planets. My current playthrough is actually the first time I've ever tried building a mining rover. I blame my lack of experience on the traumatic gravity glitches from its early access days. Lately, I'll spend hours mining resources and hauling them back and forth, slowly building different vehicles for different tasks, constructing a base I can call home, and preparing for more adventures that I plan to have out there. In Stellaris, I've conquered massive sections of the galaxy on a bunch of different playthroughs, sometimes through diplomacy, sometimes through conquest, but I've never actually seen the end of the game, because I always end up getting destroyed by an AI faction or one of the crisis events. One day I hope to see that final turn. Despite how much time I sink into this genre, and yes, I realize space isn't technically a genre, but it wasn't until recently that I recognized how important space still is to me. It had become such a normal part of my life that I'd stopped thinking of it as anything extraordinary. I fly out to work, stay there for 2 weeks, and then fly back and have a week off. So each time I'm going to and from work, there's a lot of quiet solitude in the waiting room, on the flight, and during the bus ride to and from the camp. Usually I prepare by pre-downloading a ton of anime that I can watch to pass the time, but more often than not, I find myself putting on an ambient space mix. I then close my eyes and lose myself in daydreams about space. In these moments, I imagine flying to unknown planets in No Man's Sky, exploring and discovering things that no one has ever seen before, or pulling into a space station, orbiting a planet in Star Citizen, offloading a delivery of cargo for a small profit, or maybe flattening out areas at Astroneer to automate resource collection. Sometimes I enjoy the daydreams more than the games themselves. I picture myself in Astroneer, getting up, putting on my suit, and stepping out of my little space hut to start my daily adventure. Or maybe in Space Engineers, crawling into the back of my ship to relax and sip some coffee between runs. Deep down, that's the kind of experience that I want, to truly immerse myself in these games and in their worlds and in their universes. Ironically, I'm a big homebody. Traveling to real-world destinations just doesn't really excite me. But give me a hotel room for 3 days, where I can just stay in bed, play space games, and pretend I'm on another planet, and I'll have the time of my life.